Let's get into today's episode of Why We Succeed.
Yo, what is going on? Man, we are back with another episode of Why We Succeed. It's your man, Jay Immanuel, and today I'm joined by a very, very special guest, the one and only, my girl, Ravenn Jayy. What's going on with you?
What's going on? This is amazing. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you on the podcast. Yo, I came across your YouTube channel and the content you're putting out, absolutely amazing. If y'all not subscribed already to Ravenn Jayy, open up a new tab in your browser, go subscribe, because you are dropping gems over there. And I'm excited because you own a digital marketing company. You also have an apparel collection. Yeah. So there's a few different things that we're going to dive into today. Yes, I see you rocking your show again.
You will never not catch me representing, okay?
I love that. Yo, I love it. So I always like to kick our show off with one very specific question, and that is, how do you define success?
Wow. Success. I feel like that's such a loaded question. And having a little time to think about it, for me, success is not about the achievement that you're trying to get to, but really about getting to it. Like, it sounds so cliche, it's the journey. But like, honestly, for me, I don't even believe that, I have reached levels of success. I just think that I've hit milestones along the journey. And that is the part that's been the most enjoyable, is the milestones and, the ups, the downs, the trial, the error, and the rewards along the way. So it's like the bittersweetness of the journey, it kind of prepares you for like, wow, that success ending is going to be ridiculous. Like, it's gonna blow my mind. I can't even imagine what that part looks like. I just know that along the way, we gotta go through and we have to enjoy it though, and to just be in those moments along the journey. And I feel like by the time you hit success, really it's not about what you have, but it's about kind of where you came from. So success may look different to a lot of people, and honestly, to me, it's about looking at everything you're doing, everything you're sacrificing, all of the growing that you're doing to really get there. Because honestly, it's like, once you get there, what do you do next? So it's like, enjoy getting there.
Yo, that's real. And there were a few things that you said that stood out to me. The first, I'm just curious, what was the last notable milestone that you reached on your journey?
So, I mean, I have different, businesses, but I will say that with my marketing business, my digital marketing agency, that recently kind of took a unexpected increase. Like, for me, I was really focused on my apparel business. It's done great by the grace of God, like soon as it launched in September. So I have really had a lot of focus on that. But then it was like, out of nowhere, I was just like being hit with a lot of people wanting my services for marketing. And I was like, whoa, I'm not even doing that right now. Like, let's slow down. But then it was just like the volume increased, and I actually was reached out to from, so I have a client that was consulting with me on actually starting her own apparel brand. And it was like a double whammy. She needed apparel brand help, but she also needed the help to launch it on social media. So she was just consulting with me one-on-one every week. And she actually referred me to a friend of hers who owns a marketing agency. And she's based in Texas. However, she said that my client spoke so highly of me. She just said, I need to meet this person that you're talking about. And because, traditional marketing is billboards, park benches, newspapers, things like that. And the digital marketing space is still new for a lot of people, even people who've been in marketing all their life. So she reached out to me and asked me to consult with her and to teach her clients. So that was probably like the biggest partnership that I've had with my marketing agency, because mostly I do one-on-one coaching. So for me, that was new, and it was exciting, and definitely kind of just put me back in another mindset. Like, okay, you can't neglect this, because what if it's time for that to go or to, go forward, and, you were kind of neglecting it to focus on your other business. So that was a huge, huge milestone for me, was to have a contract on a larger scale. And for me, knowing like that could be small scale to large scale, like I don't even know. So it was new for me. It was definitely new, but it was one of those things on the journey, and I'm grateful for it. So,
oh man, that's absolutely amazing, because sometimes you never know. You're wanting to like navigate and go in one direction, and then some blessings start flowing in the other direction. It's like, hold on, let me go get my bucket, because I'm not
okay,
trying to miss out on this.
that's exactly it. It was like, okay, hold on.
Right. I can
Yes.
only imagine. I can only imagine. So let's kind of go with the start of your journey. Tell us, how does that story start when it comes to you getting into entrepreneurship?
So, I have always been like, so first of all, let's go way back. I'm a middle child. Okay.
Okay.
Middle children always just got to figure it out themselves. Okay. Because, the focus is either on the oldest or the youngest. So I just felt like I was always like that little bridge in the middle that just kind of had to be self sufficient. I didn't have to, I wasn't neglected, but I just felt like I had to be. So kind of growing up, I just always had this mindset that like, as soon as I can, I want to be able to do it on my own. I moved out at 19. I went to college right after high school, but I went straight to a community college to save money. I did my first 2 years there before transferring to a university, and I actually just recentally graduated. So let me put that out there. Like, it took me 7 years to graduate college. So if anybody
Yo,
is like,
congrats. Yo, you made it
dang,
happen though.
I'm
That's
not
all
gonna
that matters.
graduate, I'm not, this taking too long. Okay, but along the way, I started successful businesses. So
Right.
for me, getting to that point though, I was actually employed. So I said that because through college, I always worked. Because I moved out, I didn't start at a university, I didn't stay on campus, all that fun stuff. I always had to work, just to pay for college, pay for living. So I had my first real big girl job, I would say, back in like 2019, and I will never forget the day because it happened on my brother's birthday. They laid me off, and it
Wow.
was like effective the same day. It was like, there were two people in my role, and they
Mhm.
couldn't afford two people, so
Okay.
they picked the person who had more seniority, of course.
Okay.
So they let me go, and it was like, yep, we will pay you through the end of today, not the end of the week, through the end of today. And so I was like, what? I go home, I call my mom, I said, Mom, they want me to file unemployment. I don't even know how to do that.
Right.
So it was definitely eye-opening for me because it showed me that you are always at will with a company. And, even if they pay you good, if they promote you, no matter what, like if you sign that offer agreement that says at will, you are at will. Like no matter
Facts.
how good you are at your job, you are at will. So for me, that just kind of shifted the way I thought about like, working in a career and things like that. And it was like, okay, I know I'm going to school for this. And, if it's God's will, then I will use that when I'm finished, but I need to figure out something now. So I ended up going and getting my real estate license. So
Oh,
I
nice.
started doing real estate, and it was fun for a while
Mhm.
until it wasn't. And I really did have a passion for that. And I do
Mhm.
believe that if you do sell real estate, you have to have a very, very driven passion.
Mm.
Because when the market gets wonky like it is right now,
Mhm.
it can get hard.
Yeah.
So kind of along the way of doing real estate and just like navigating entrepreneurship, trying to get people to notice you because, as an entrepreneur, you don't get paid unless you go out there and get some money. Okay. So for me,
Right.
I kind of started venturing out into like, I was already present on social media and I already knew how to build relationships on social media. And when I realized, okay, I need to start getting people as clients from social media, then I started to kind of really tap into marketing on social media. So I think I started to fall in love with that more than what I was doing in real estate. And it just kind of took over more. And as I did it for myself, then I said, okay, let's try and do this for other people in different businesses and see if I still know what I'm talking about. And I did my first couple clients for free, just to
Okay.
kind of build my portfolio and
Mhm.
my experience, and just like I said, to see if I really knew what I was talking
Right.
about. So after a little while, I was like, I want to do this. I was like, I think I know how to do this. I was talking to at the then time my boyfriend, now my fiance. I was talking to him like, I really feel like I'm good at this. Like to some people, it's gonna sound like, girl, you just know how to use social media. We all know how to use social media. But I was like, no, I feel like I know it deeper than
Right.
that. And at that point I was like, okay, I just started studying more. I just started researching more. And then I started my little LLC, my little business. And it was, you know, at the time it was my little business. So it kind of just grew, and it was definitely hard because it's like I said, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, every day that goes by that you're not bringing in income, like the bills don't care that you're an entrepreneur.
Right. They coming still
They
on time.
So it was hard for me because I'm like, okay, if this is what I want to do, like I really have to focus on it, because like real estate, when you're a brand new agent, it's not like, you know, you just have deals coming to you. So, and there's more expenses in real estate if you're than profit at that time for me, because I wasn't doing too many deals, and you have to pay fees and dues and all this stuff every month, every quarter, every year.
Wow.
And it's just like it started to cost more than it was, you know, it wasn't worth it for me, because I felt like my heart wasn't there anymore. So I really started focusing on what I like to do, and that was marketing, and kind of just went with it ever since. And that's where we are now. I don't still do real estate, but I definitely found my place in like digital presence, social platforms, and just really finding ways to bring my knowledge to the forefront and like keep expanding it, keep growing it, still learning, but also teaching as much as I can. And like I mentioned, along the way of entrepreneurship, we still got to make money somehow. So if it's not clients, it was those side hustles that I talk about on YouTube, you know, just kind of finding my way to just stay afloat in the things that I know and the things that I love. So it all started when I got laid off, though. I was like, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna do that to me again.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's so interesting because, and tell me if I'm wrong, your situation sounds like you started to monetize your skills based on pretty much survival. You're like, yo, these bills come in, I got to do this. But you know, some people, they have the luxury of having a 9 to 5, and they have this idea of, I want to start this business, but because there's not this immediate need to do so, they put it off. They don't look at how monetizable their skills are. Can you speak to how important it is for us to acknowledge that, hey, you have a skill that's monetizable and take action on that?
I feel like I tell this to people all the time. I don't care what you're good at. I don't care what you know how to do. My favorite example is, if you know how to change a tire, do you know how many people need you to teach them how to change a tire?
Right.
I mean, I don't know how to change a tire. I would pay you to tell me how. Okay, like if I was a single woman, like if you know how to do something, I don't care what it is, somebody somewhere will pay you for your knowledge. Doesn't matter what you know how to do. Even if it's something that can be Googled, your experience is what really kind of sells it. Right. Your personality is what sells it. Who you are, your story, your background is really what makes people invest in you and your knowledge and trust you. And so many people do not believe that, you know, the little qualities that they thought were, you know, just stuff that they like to do, or something that they just, you know, always knew of. They don't know that could take them somewhere. For example, my fiance, when I first met him, like 7 years ago, child, he had a Buick Century. It was like a 97 or something. He's got a Camaro now, you know, time to change.
Yes. Like, yo, we have upgraded. You understand?
We have upgraded. But
New
when
levels.
I first met him, he had that car, and I always noticed like he would wash it, he would vacuum his car, he would take good care of his car. It's just a little thing. And, you know, over the years, I just always noticed like he just keeps up with his car. Like, you know, they always say females have junky cars. My car was never bad, but his car was always better. So when he kind of got to this point where he, you know, he worked a really good job with my family's business, and he just was like, you know, I think that I want my own thing. So we were kind of bouncing off, okay, what kind of businesses could you start? And it was just like, none of them I felt like were related to what he liked or what he knew best. Okay. And I wanted him to start like a YouTube channel, because I think that he's got this weird part of his brain that just knows all these car facts. And it's like a car can zoom by, and I'm like, what was that? He'd be like, that was a BMW X7. I'm like, you're lying. And he'd like, look it up. And I was like, dang, he was right. But I was just like, okay, there's something that, you know, you're very, very good at. So how can we take something you like to do and turn it into something? And what he ended up doing was starting a mobile detailing business. And his business has been so good to him. But had he kind of had that, you know, image of, I don't want to be a car cleaner, you know, it wasn't that for him. For him, it was literally like the different cars he gets to experience, the different things he sees. He can tell you things about people's carpets, about, you know, like interiors and surfaces and equipment. It's just like, he's passionate.
Right.
And he found something that is fun for him, one, but he actually enjoys doing it. And he's able to have the freedom of setting how much it's going to pay him. And as soon as he had to take it serious, he's literally watched it not fail him. And I wish that a lot of people will see that when you actually know what you know, you don't have to know all of it. Like, as you do it, it's just like starting a job. Like, you, when you start that 9 to 5, they have to train you. The thing is they know a little bit. And then as you work, you start to know a lot more. And it's the same thing with your business. When I got into marketing, I did not know everything. I even had to, I just finished a Google professional course, like to teach me more about things that I didn't know. There's a lot that comes with whatever business that you're going to want to start, and you're not going to know it all. Like, you're literally not going to know everything. But the more you have to learn it, because you have no other choice but to learn it, you end up becoming the expert. That's why I feel like today I can call myself, like, on my social, like my Instagram, the title is says expert, because I don't care what you think you know, I know what I know.
Right.
And I'm going to always be confident in what I know. And I feel like so many people have these hidden talents. They have this just knowledge. They know stuff about whatever it might be. They are just afraid to actually pursue it, or they don't think that it's going to be worth pursuing. They know safety and security. They know their 9 to 5. And I am never going to talk down 9 to 5, because there are some people who work in corporate, and their thing is they know how to climb the corporate ladder. And we see them on social media teaching people that, still monetizing what they know in a 9 to 5. So
Exactly.
it's like, some people think that, oh, if I want to pursue my side hustle, I'm going to have to quit my job, and I can't afford to quit my job right now. Nobody's telling you to do that.
Nope.
Like, the point is to grab every opportunity to make some extra money while doing something that you actually like to do. And people are just so afraid to do that. Just fear of failure, fear of uncertainty. They want something safe and secure. And that's what you want all your life, then nobody can tell you different, especially not me.
Yeah, well, I hear that. Now, I already know how some people think, right? They're like, yo, Ravenn, man, you got it all together. Sound like you probably ain't ever had no challenges, no issues along your journey. So I'm curious, what would you say to those individuals? What are some challenges that you've had to face along your journey? I know you mentioned earlier some sacrifices. What are some of those?
There will always be the downs. Like, a lot of people glorify, the accomplishments, the ups, the problem with our social platforms, all of them, they are sometimes misleading to people, that everything is all glitz and glamour, everything is perfect. But sometimes at the end of the day, first of all, you don't know everything. So I've experienced challenges sometimes where it's like, a client may have heard great things about me and they want to hire me for something, but there is something they need that I don't know how to do. So it's like, do you turn them away, or do you mislead them because you technically don't know what you're doing, but you're going to try and figure it out along the way? For me personally, I've never wanted to be that person to people, because I know that it'll either work out great and I'll learn something new, or I'm going to burn a bridge with a potential client, rather than just saying, I can't provide that for you, but I can, provide this, or I can refer you. So there's been a lot of times where, when I first started, I did not know everything. I couldn't even pretend to know everything. There was the little things that, you think you're supposed to know. And sometimes that is like the biggest challenge for you, is feeling like, what if I fail a client? What if they get a bad image of me? That was definitely kind of an obstacle. As I grew more, I was able to learn more. And I'm sure my original clients have seen the price go up. You learn more and you feel like you have become more valuable. But that was definitely a challenge for me. Sometimes the biggest challenge that I feel like entrepreneurs don't talk about, and that I kind of mentioned, is that in between time of no money. There is going to be a lot of times where you are broke as an entrepreneur, but you kind of don't come off like that. I saw a post and they were like, people don't believe me when I say I'm broke. Like, am I supposed to dress and look broke? Like, I can't still carry myself nice and be broke.
Right.
You know, when you're an entrepreneur, like, you know, unless you just came out the gate and God just, you know, immediately elevated your business to a six-figure business,
Mhm.
it's not like that for
Right.
probably 90% of business owners. And that's definitely going to be a challenge is, you know, as you make money, sometimes you have to put it right back into the business. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm not seeing a profit. I'm not seeing, you know, I'm not able to pay myself. Like, oh, I forgot to put aside money for taxes. And, you know, it can be sometimes a losing battle for entrepreneurs when they're first
Mhm.
starting is to just be profitable.
Mhm.
And that can definitely be a challenge and one that could be discouraging for some, but kind of, you know, motivational to others that, okay, every single day I have to keep working. I have to keep finding a new way. I have to keep doing this. I have to keep going.
Right.
Because that is definitely hard. It's not an
Mhm.
easy thing, you know, trying to wonder, okay, maybe this client will book. Maybe they'll book if I do this. Maybe I should run a sale, but if I run a sale, I'm taking away from what I could make. You know, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should, you know, pay for some ads. But then it's like, okay, that's still taking money out of my pocket. So it's
Right.
definitely like, how do you find an effective way to make money and not just lose it all?
Mhm.
And that for sure can be a challenge. One that I've seen, one that I know a lot of people have seen is just becoming profitable.
Right.
So the challenges, honestly, they're endless. Like some days, some days, some weeks are just dry. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes there aren't bookings.
Right.
Sometimes there, you know, aren't sales with your products.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can feel discouraged. Let's not even talk about imposter syndrome.
Right.
Well, might as well. Like that was probably one of the biggest challenges for me, and sometimes it still is to believe that you are good at what you're doing, and
Mhm.
that you know this isn't luck. You're not just
No.
lucky. Like you actually have what it takes, and to always believe that you do. And sometimes that's hard because it just the little intrusive thoughts creep in, like you had a good sales day this day because maybe your audience was more active. Maybe, you know, this happened. So that when you have like a week of nothing, you're like, see, told you, you're not that
Mm.
good. And sometimes that can be extremely discouraging for people because it's like, dang, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
Like maybe I should just go back to something that's safe. You know, maybe I'm not all that good at this. Maybe it was just I got lucky. Um, and sometimes we really can't believe and convince ourselves that we're not equipped for, you know, what we're doing. But
Mhm.
a lot of times it's like I just have to continue to remind myself that, you know, God did not give me this vision to have it fail.
Not at
Like
all.
if I came up with this out of, you know, whatever, like okay, it
Right.
might be a reach, but I know like I don't I don't know what your religion is, but I am, you know,
Mhm.
I'm God's child. So if God
Yes.
gave me this vision, this gift allowed me to develop such a, you know, profound knowledge for something, there's no way that
Mhm.
it's like, okay, we wasted all of our time.
Right.
So then sometimes you just got to get back up. You just got to get back in it and just keep going
Mhm.
and just keep trying. Um, that probably, that maybe that is like the biggest obstacle. That imposter syndrome is crazy.
Yeah. It's no joke. Trust me, you are not the first guest to mention imposter syndrome. I've definitely experienced it, and it's one of those hurdles that we often have to overcome along our journey for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I really appreciate your transparency, opening up and sharing about your experiences. I want to dive a little bit deeper into your digital marketing business, right?
Hmm.
So when you were first starting, what did that journey look like? Like, how did you get things to, well, what did it look like when you started to where you are today? Like, what did that look like?
So for me, I wanted to be very careful and very sure that since that was my first like business, my first like
Mhm,
LLC,
mhm,
that I was dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's. But the hard part for me was back then, you know, I don't have the money or the resources to hire a lawyer, hire an accountant,
right,
hire, you know, CPA, somebody to make sure everything's in line. So for me, back then, I really wanted to make sure I did a lot of research before I just started a business. And
okay,
it wasn't necessarily about what I was going to be selling or offering because, like I said, I was a little confident in that at the time. But it
mhm,
was like, okay, well, what do I need to launch this business? Like,
right.
because if I'm out here doing business and it's like illegitimate, like the last thing I want is the IRS looking for me.
Facts,
Okay.
that's the last thing you
That
want.
is the last thing I want. So I made it a purpose to do all the research, because a lot of people don't quite want to help you unless you're going to pay them. And I respect that. I mean,
Right.
get your coins. Okay.
Yes.
But it was like hard as that new business owner, like, okay, well, I can afford what y'all need me to pay y'all to get help. And another reason why I am that resource for a lot of people on my platforms for free.
Nice.
But when I first started, I wanted to be sure that I had the right business structure. So I was like, well,
Okay.
am I going to form an LLC? Am I going to be a sole proprietor? You know, all that stuff. The business bank account, you know, my EIN. I had to make sure I got all of that stuff set up. I wanted a efficient like booking source. And at that time, I did not have my full website. I just had I went through a platform called Honeybook, and I still use Honeybook to this day because I just kind of love that platform. But it was a easy and affordable platform that had a booking calendar and payment on the same thing, where a client could find me, look at my calendar, and pay at checkout. And then, you know, it came back to me like, you have a new booking. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, this is what I need. So
one-stop shop.
You know, not even knowing like, okay, I might need more than that in the future, but it was enough for me when I first started. Like, okay, I had a booking platform. I had my logistics kind of together in the background. I had my branding done. I was like, and I did all of this myself. I went on Canva, made my little logo, made my little graphics. That was just, in the beginning, I had to make sure I had the setup together. I had to make sure that like everything would be efficient and that it was documented. There was a record of everybody who was booking and paying. Like, no, you cannot cash out me for a consultation. No, you cannot Apple Pay me. Like, I wanted it to be legit from day one, you know. And some people just want to get started and they will just say, oh, you know, hey, I offer XYZ and you can cash at me. And I'm just like, you want me to cash app you? Like, even back then I was like, cash app? Like, I thought this was a business. Like, we don't go to Target and cash app them for our stuff. Like, you know, I don't call, you know, a company for services and they say, yeah, cash app, because if they do, I'm gonna be looking like, is this legit?
What's going on here?
Am I about to get scammed?
Right.
Like, it was definitely like, I wanted to make sure it was just perfect from the beginning. And I knew that I wouldn't have everything laid out. Like, I knew I had never done business taxes before, and like I had never had to pay taxes quarterly and do all this stuff. So I was like, you know, we're just gonna start and see like where this gets us. And the way I had it set up from the beginning was, it was good for at the time. I had the booking system, it was great. But if I look back to from then to now, now I have two different websites. One for marketing, one for my apparel. But my marketing website is, you know, fully functional. It's got, you know, all the tabs, it's got all the bookings, all of the, you know, descriptions, you know, the payments, the inquiries, you can contact me. It's more functional than my little booking platform, first of all. I have been an entrepreneur now for officially over a year. So I've filed actual 2021 business taxes, and I was like, like, I hope this is right. You know, so now I've got that experience under my belt. I've launched another LLC. I've helped so many people do them. I've gotten sales tax license. I've figured out all the ways. I know how to effectively research. I've filed my trademark myself for Black and McCann. It's definitely like, from then to now, I've learned so much on how to be my own resource, to where I did not have to have people say, oh, well, I could answer that one question for you, but you're going to have to pay me. And it was like, okay, well, I'll get back to you. You know, I kind of had to, from then to now, it was, like I said, it wasn't just about the knowledge of the actual craft, because I knew that was the easy part. I wanted to make sure that my back office was online. And I would say that for anybody wants to start a business, just do it right from day one. And it kind of just makes the rest seamless and easy and less of a headache. Honestly, from then and now, the back office has always been in shape. But the actual forefront of the business,
Mhm.
you know, the services offered, those have grown, those have expanded, the experience has expanded. So I mean, I'm excited to see where it is another year from now. So
Yeah, I mean, you doing your thing. 1 year, like that's major. That's
well,
major.
and
And
actually, I'm sorry, Black Women Can has been open for almost a year. My
mhm.
marketing agency has been open since 2020.
Okay, so
Um,
come 2
so
years.
it's going on 2 years in October.
Okay,
So like a year and a half now. But yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it because quick question, did you start on YouTube before starting your business?
I technically had a YouTube channel
Mhm.
and it might have had a video or two, but I did not
Okay.
take it seriously until like January 2021.
Okay. Okay.
So
So your
is that a
business had
lie?
officially
That
already
is,
been established before you started to like get on YouTube and put your grind in.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My
Dang.
business was open and established before I took my YouTube seriously.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But even still, like as a content creator, you were able to not just continue operating the business that you have, but now we see you were able to launch a completely entire different business, right? Because apparel is completely different
Oh,
from
it's totally
digital
different.
marketing.
It's totally different.
And
Man,
I'm curious, a lot of people like to get into apparel. Like, what does it take? Like, what's required for somebody to start their own clothing line, their own apparel collection?
you know, that could go a couple different directions, but I'll speak specifically about the direction of mine.
Okay.
Obviously, like I mentioned, the back office, the logistics, you know, making
Hmm.
sure you have everything set up correctly. And it was different for me and it was new for me because I realized, like, okay, a product based business requires a couple more documents than just me providing online services. You know, I had to set up a sales tax license and all this stuff and make sure I could legally charge tax on the stuff and all this. And that is definitely what I would say is when you're starting this, again, if you can afford to consult somebody, do that. But if not, before you sell a single thing, do as much research as you possibly can to make sure that nobody can like shut you down, nobody can come after you. You are not stealing somebody else's design. You are not copywriting, you know, infringing on other people's work. A lot of people will just like, we love Canva. We talk about Canva all day long in that
Yeah.
platform for creating these graphics. However, people want to go and trademark a Canva design as their logo and realize that you can't do that, you know,
No.
or they find, oh yeah, there's hundreds of thousands of free fonts online. They are, but are they free for commercial use? You know,
Right.
having to learn things like that, like unless you design this literally with pen and paper yourself or hired a graphic designer who gave you rights to their artwork, you
Hmm.
cannot be doing what you think you can with this
Right.
stuff. So I had to learn all of that before I created the first design ever for Black Women Can, which I ended up just making myself.
Hmm.
Um, I had to learn those things. So I will say, like with a any type of physical product,
Hmm.
specifically apparel, know what you can and cannot do in that
Right.
space. And if you can't, figure out how you can do it legitimately and legally so
Hmm.
that you know you don't have to end up losing all of the work you've done. I actually want to say that the I can't remember her name right now. Literally I know it, but I can't think of it. She has the Trademark My Stuff company. And she's told her story about how why she got into trademark law because it happened to her. You know, she had a whole business and another company came and shut her down because they kind of took her idea, but they trademarked it. So it didn't matter that she
Wow.
had the idea. So I will say that if you have a apparel brand that you are really passionate about, because when I came up with Black Women Can, I was like, nobody else has that. That is
Right.
mine. That is
Yes.
mine. And I will be so outraged if somebody tried to
Ain't
switch
nobody
it.
about to snatch it.
Nobody is about to get this. Like nobody. And it wasn't me trying to be money hungry or greedy. It was just that what it stood for. I was
Right.
like, no, that came from me. My fiance
Facts.
helped me with that. I was like, no, like this is my thing. So you know, I made sure that before it kind of launched, everything
Hmm.
was in line for that again.
Hmm.
But then it was like, okay, I've never sold a physical product. I was
Right.
like, okay, I know I want to do t-shirts. At the time, it was just t-shirts. I was like,
Okay.
t-shirts, okay. Where do you buy t-shirts? I was like, do I get the t-shirt with the design already on it? Like, what I do?
Hmm.
And there's a couple routes you can go if you're gonna do like graphic t-shirts or
Hmm.
crew necks and hoodies and stuff like that is you can have a company make it for you where
Okay.
you know you contact the manufacturer and you send them your design and their job is to print your design on your garment and ship it to
Hmm.
you just like this.
Right.
And that is sometimes the easiest route for people. However, it can be a really expensive route because you're losing a lot of money paying this company. So now when you sell your product, the retail of it that you have to sell it for to actually see a profit, it might be too high for your audience.
Right.
And you might be leaving a lot of people out because they can't afford it. So for me, I did not want to go that route. Whereas if I went the route of just buying the apparel blank in bulk, it was pretty affordable. It was very affordable by the t-shirts. And I knew like, okay, I want to sell what I would wear. So I was very careful with selecting what type of t-shirt style, because I didn't want to sell. Everybody knows Gildan shirts. That's just,
Right.
you know, even if you don't sell apparel, okay, you've had to
Right.
purchase a t-shirt in school or at your job or something where
Yes.
they had these t-shirts designed. They said, who wants t-shirt? You can get a t-shirt order. All right, $20 for the t-shirt. You get this little stiff cardboard shirt.
Right.
And you're like, it's cool. I'm just wearing it for this event. Like, it's just a t-shirt. But I'm like, I don't want my shirts to be like, I just didn't want that. So I was really careful with selecting the type of shirt that I wanted. And I ordered those in bulk. And then I actually had a Cricut cutter thing. And that is where I was like, okay, this can produce my design. There is this material, it's called vinyl. And you can buy the heat transfer vinyl, which is like iron on. So as long as you have a garment, the vinyl, and a heat source, you can make a t-shirt. So even if you just had a home iron, you can make a t-shirt.
Wow.
They sell the vinyl at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. You can buy it anywhere. Now, I mean, I buy mine in wholesale in bulk because I have my license to do so.
Right.
But you can buy that vinyl anywhere. If it's just for the sake of starting, you can go right up the street to Michael's, grab some vinyl, grab a t-shirt from Michael's, and use your at-home iron. Okay. There are obviously more professional and industrial heat sources, which are called heat presses. And I eventually had bought one of those, but it was like, if you just wanted to start, use that. And the Cricut cut out the design, and that's what I pressed on my shirt. So I ended up kind of going a different route as I grew the business and as I learned what is more time efficient, what's more cost effective, how can this business be more efficient to make as much money as it can, but to stay true to what I wanted, because I always wanted to keep it in-house. I still do not want to manufacture. Like, even though I have the business reputation and I'm sure my customers will pay what they want, what I ask them, because of the representation of the business. It's not just for money, but it is a purpose behind it. I would rather not. I would rather keep it realistic. You know, I would rather keep it in-house, handmade with love, like I say. And even when it's like, okay, Ravenn, you can't make all these by yourself, I said, that's fine. When I hire my employees, they will know how to make them. We're still not manufacturing or outsourcing. You know, I never want to do that. So when God blesses me with employees, warehouse, whatever, they will still be made in-house. But there is another route that you can go where if you don't have the Cricut cutter or the time to, you know, do the design and all that, there are websites that can print you what's called a screen print transfer. And even myself, who owns 3 Cricuts, I was like, wait, that's a better idea at this point. And not only is it more time efficient, in the long run, it's a little more cost effective, but also for the actual product, the quality of it is going to go longer. It's going to go further. The vinyl, when you use vinyl on your shirts, what happens is this design just kind of sits on top of the shirt, and that's okay. It'll last you a little while, but the more you wash it, the more dingy it gets, and then it can start peeling off. But the screen print transfers are literally like a ink or a toner that the company uses, and when you use the heat to apply it to the shirt, it kind of melts into the fabric. So now it's into the fabric, it's a part of the garment, and it's going to last way longer. So it's like, okay, for quality, I'm switching to that. So there's just a lot of things like with the apparel, it's like, figure out how you're going to do it. Are you going to manufacture and outsource, or are you going to make it in-house? If you're going to make it in-house, what materials do you need? Find your best wholesaler for your garment so that you can spend as less as possible, but still get good quality. And what type of design are you going to put on there? Is your design, you know, within the guidelines of, you know, the law? Are you stealing somebody else's work, or is this 100% your work and nobody else can steal?
That's important.
Yes. And then, like, how can you bring it to life? Like when you bring it to life, all right, now you've got an actual piece of, merchandise. And then after that, it's like, well, how do you sell it? And then comes in having my marketing background on social media that I help other people to say, how do you learn how to sell products online? So, so many words. It's not too hard, but it does require some investment up front. And that's what, people don't really talk about when you're starting a product-based business. Because that's going to cost you a little change. So yeah.
But it's definitely possible. And the one thing that I would say is definitely multiple steps to that process. But if a person is determined that, hey, they really want to start their own apparel collection, you can do it. And I would say, hey, if you brand new to this, you've been creating content and you're like, yo, I want to start my own apparel collection, you need to hook up with my girl Ravenn. Reach out to her, get to consultation, get to coaching, figure out how to do it the right way the first time. And I think that'll put you on the right path. With that in mind, coaching is a part of what you do. And I'm curious, what does it look like for a person who wants to start coaching? Like, how would you recommend a person get into that so that it can be profitable?
So for coaching, when I started doing that, it was just a matter of, so I actually kind of left that out when I talked about my marketing business. So my marketing business did not start with coaching. It actually started with, I offered marketing services to business owners or influencers, entrepreneurs on their social platforms. And I would either help them create content or I would completely manage their social media for them, like 100% manage it. They have completely hands off. So that was my first title, was a social media manager. Now at this point, I'm just a social media consultant because as the business grew, I had less time to fully manage people's social media because managing my own and then my business, it's already a lot. And managing clients was a lot. So I said, okay, I want to still be able to profit off of my knowledge, but I don't have the time to provide those full-time services like I did before, but I'm not just going to give up on what I know. So the way I kind of transitioned was, okay, people still need help with social media. And a trend that I noticed with being a social media manager is there's either the people that can afford to put you on payroll for a year, and there's the people that can afford you when they really need you. And then they're like, okay, I don't think we can afford this anymore, but her work is really good, but okay, we're trying to keep the money coming in than to, keep spending it. So, some people have to really see the value of having a social media manager. And when they do, they do. But I also kind of learned some people might just need me for a little bit. And then after that, they can take over and learn how to and figure it out for themselves. So the coaching business kind of started when I was like, okay, how do I bridge that gap of still providing my services, but not losing all my time? So then I started offering they started off as 30 minutes and now they're an hour. And then for product-based business, people who want to consult, we do an hour and a half because it's a lot of information. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to start doing consultations, coaching calls, strategizing sessions with people who have talked to me before in the past, but still need a little more help. They can book with me whenever. Some people will book me for a month and we talk every single week. But the thing about it was I had to say okay, here's what I know. Here's what people are often looking for. Let's create some packages, set a price. How long will we talk for? And you don't need a crazy, we don't have to do it on Zoom. We don't have to do it on FaceTime. Literally, I just pick up the phone and call them. It's just a phone consultation. If they want to do Zoom, we can. I never do in person because I first of all, it's offered to people who don't live near me. But even people who are close to me, my friends, my family, if they've ever booked with me, they value it's a phone consultation. We'll get on the phone. We'll do what we need to do. And that's it. So really in the beginning, coming up with the packages, what do I want to offer? Keep it specific because you'll start to notice, and this happened in the beginning, I started to notice wow, I'm giving way more information than I intended to, or we're talking for over the time limit. And it's I don't mind, but it was okay, they're also saying, well, I'm sorry I held you so long, or, you need to raise your price. And it was I hear them. But then over some time, I was after I got the experience from doing these calls, I was okay, learning that we need more time, first of all. So I ended up
30 to an hour.
30 to an hour. But then it was no way they're getting an hour for 30-minute price. So it was okay,
not at all.
Clearly I'm valuable, so let's go up a little bit in the price. And it was okay, I would get feedback of some people were a little confused on which services to book. So I was like, okay, let's go back and redefine these services online, make the packages a little more clear. And maybe let's even make different packages, because some people will book like a new client consultation or a strategizing session, and they want to talk about something totally different. They want to talk about like the logistics of the business. And it's like, oh, we weren't here for that, you know?
Right.
So I had to create more diverse packages and just make the user experience also on my website a little more like clear. So just learning those things from just starting, which like I said in the beginning, I just started with here's my calendar and you can pay online. Right. And there were literally like just one service, maybe two, but I think it was just one. So that was all I had. And I think the HoneyBook subscription was like free for a while. And then it was like $10 a month. So for me, my only overhead was like, okay, $10 a month. And then I think I pay like $12 a month for Canva. So I was like, okay, it's not much of an investment for this business. It's virtual, or you don't even have to use either of those. Sure, there's probably you could probably use the free version of Square. You know, there is a free platform that I'm sure you could use where this business costs you nothing to start. You know, I just wanted to, like I said, I wanted to do it right from the beginning.
Right.
So, excuse me,
and I mean, that's less than $25 a month to
less than $25 a month.
Professional, but like,
and like... the 30-minute consultations when I first started were $30. So it was like, if I can, you know, if I had to make a plan of how many do I need to be booking, you know, I can book one and get back my investment for the month. And it's not like I was charging people crazy amounts. So it was like in the beginning where you're a little nervous, I'm like, what do I charge people? Are they going to think this is too much? It was great experience to get feedback on how I should change things to make them better for my clients and for me, to make what I'm doing more valuable and worthwhile. So in the beginning, lots of trial and error, lots of, okay, let's just start, put this up. This is what I know. This is what's going to cost. Let's see who likes it. Let's see who bites, you know?
Right.
But actually like getting people to book definitely came down to getting on social media and talking about what I know without selling people. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But, you know, I highly, highly, highly believe that to be successful with getting like converting from followers to actually like paying clients or customers on your social media, you have to stop selling them. Like people don't want to get on their social media and feel like they're obligated to buy stuff. So it was just a matter of kind of getting on there, talking about what I was good at, what I knew, and making it somehow add value to them. Because why do they care? Like, yes, you are good at, you know, growing social medias, but like to the person that's just here to scroll, you know, that might not matter to them. But the person that is trying to grow a business, they want to see like value in you, because if they're trying to make more money, then they probably can't afford to really hire you. So you have to really make yourself valuable enough for somebody to say, okay, I need to invest in this so that it can take my business further. So it was just a kind of a matter of actually getting on their platforms and talking about the things that you know so much that it was like, okay, this girl is good. Like I need to actually talk to her so she can tell me how to apply this to my stuff. So yeah, getting people to actually buy definitely 100% came from showing up on my platforms and being knowledgeable and showing people that I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you come back on so we can talk about how to sell on social media without like being overtly salesy. Yo, that should be our next one. But yo, I'm really enjoying this. One of the other things that I wanted to ask you, what are some of the tools or resources that you use in your business that have helped you? Like they're your go-tos.
So for my marketing business, obviously our biggest tool is our social media. And some people might not need anything else, you know, if they just have their social media, they're good. But for when like running my business, I would say that like my website is my biggest platform or my biggest asset, like to keep everything organized. And shocker to a lot of people, I use Wix. Shopify is amazing. They're great. But when I first started the business and needed a website, couldn't afford Shopify. Or the plan I wanted. I was like, so I didn't want to buy the lesser plan and just be like, dang, like this isn't working. So I went with the super affordable plan on Wix. And I found workarounds, and I was like, okay, well, this is now everything in itself. Like, this is everything. Like, I didn't feel like I needed anything else. And I use Wix for both of my websites, and they're from templates. So people ask me all the time, like, did you build it? I was like, yeah, with a template. Wix. You can do it too. And it is fully functional. So like, my website is the biggest asset that I have now, and I would, like, if I could go back and tell me back then, like, to just use Wix, I would have. Like, I mean, HoneyBook is great, and it has so many different, resources. It's contracts built in, invoices built in, your schedule, your calendar, booking, even like a landing page you can do, I think. So HoneyBook is great, and I still recommend it. I still sometimes use it for projects. But now looking back, like, what I was paying for that and like other stuff, I could have just invested in like my Wix website to have a fully functioning website where, I have my customers' reviews on there. I have everything on there. And in the back office, though, it definitely helps me because it keeps everything so organized. You can do your email campaigns in there. You can even create graphics and visuals in Wix. I just use Canva because I've used Canva for like 3-4 years now. So it's like, I know it like the back of my hand. But I also kind of ventured into designing things myself, like in my iPad, like actual hand drawings. But like when I'm telling people like to start, I'm like, okay, just use Canva. Like, Canva's got it all. So between Wix and Canva, that's the only thing I use. I like all of the bookkeeping, all of the client management, like all the communication, all of the invoices, all of the automated texts, automated emails, everything is done through my website.
That's amazing.
Like, it's all
super streamlined.
Keep it, like, so many people will say, oh, well, I need that scheduling app. I need, a hashtag generator. I need, that one app that designs my feed for me. I need a specific app for email marketing. I need an app for ad campaigns. And I'm like, you just started this business, right?
Right.
All those subscriptions, because those apps, the good
they're
ones,
gonna start adding up.
You might as well just pay for the good Wix website. And I ended up just paying for the whole year. I was like, okay, at the time I was like, yeah, we can pay for the whole year. Let's just do this. And it has everything that I needed. And even I use Wix for my product-based business. It also helps because like they have built-in shipping platforms. So it's like all of my orders are right there. I can generate the discounted prepaid shipping labels. They're all in my website. So the back office of that is great because you can integrate other apps in there. If Wix doesn't have what you need, they have an app that you can integrate that has what you need. I have the e-gift cards built into the website because I wanted e-gift cards. Like the reviews, the website didn't have a place for people to leave reviews on the items. However, there's a add-in that lets people leave reviews. So the customer doesn't see it on their side. I just set it all up in the back. And it works perfectly. Like, everything is functional on their end, and the user experience is, it's great. So that's all that I could ask for. So honestly, like, at this point, even as somebody who is a social media manager, like, I'm not going to tell you need 6,000 apps to run a social media. I'm not, because first of all, who's got time? It's already a lot of work to run your social media and the business. Nobody's got time for all that other stuff, learning all this extra stuff. So at the end of the day, what I use mostly is my website, Wix, and Canva. And on the rare occasion, I may use the, they call themselves Meta now. So I may use the Meta Business Suite app where all of my social platforms are in that one app. And I can just kind of like flip between it and see what they're doing, see the analytics and all that, but you still don't need that because you can see that in your actual platforms. The only added benefit, I guess, is that app can schedule posts, but I don't like to schedule posts, and that's still another conversation for another day. But I'm not a huge fan of scheduling posts, so like I don't really use it. So I am a firm believer of making what you have work, because there's always a workaround, and to stop spending money on stuff that you think you need because people on the internet told you need it.
That's good. That's good. So one other question that I wanted to ask you before we get to our fun segment of the show is, what would you say are some daily habits that you attribute to your success in both life and business?
Oh, for sure, it's planning and organizing. Something that my fiance has told me, and it was like, that might be true, but what? He tells me that I work best in chaos, and I didn't
Mm.
believe that because I'm like, that's not true. I literally put everything in my planner. Like everything has a place. But then he's like, okay, well, just because in your planner, as soon as it comes up, like, okay, you knew today you had this thing due. You didn't start doing it until today. Like you knew about it for a while now, but you didn't start doing it until today. So for me, it was like, yeah, I knew it was coming up. Every single day I thought about it. Like, yeah, I have that on that day. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And then by the time it gets here, it's like, time to do it. And I think that I will probably admit that I do work best under pressure. Like I think I deliver my best work when it's like dang near time to go. Like for not for like big things, definitely like obviously launching a business, I didn't wait till last minute. But like, you know, if it was like, oh, there's a product released today, when are you gonna start making the marketing, like the graphics for it? Like I'll make it that morning. And I think that for me, like I am huge on planning and planners and organization, color
Mhm.
coding and pens and all this stuff. Like I love the whole thing. I love planning.
Mhm.
But also I am huge on not overwhelming and overworking myself anymore
Okay.
because sometimes having this whole visual outlook of all this stuff that needs to be done, it
Mhm.
can be overwhelming
Right.
and you might end up not even getting it all done because you put too much on your plate.
Yeah.
So for me, I definitely need you to tell me ahead of time. Tell me
Mhm.
ahead of time so that I can put it in my planner. But then also I work on things day by day, week by
Mhm.
week. Um, every day that comes up, I make literally a daily to-do list. And if it doesn't get done, then it rolls over to the next day, no big deal. But had I not planned or prepared for it at all, that would be a different story.
Right.
So definitely to kind of maintain all that I do because like I said, just finished school. So doing that on
Mhm.
top of running my businesses and just now we're planning a wedding, which has been literally
Right.
like my entire eat, sleep, breathe. Like every day I wake up, I'm wedding planning. Like it's a lot of things and how if I don't write it down,
Mhm.
oh, you can forget about it. Like
Right.
I'm like, you did tell me you had a baby shower that day. Like, ooh, I didn't write it down. And if I didn't write it down, I'm not going. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's real.
It's such a again a cliche thing to say, but like if you don't have any organization,
Mhm.
then there will always be chaos. And if you don't know how to navigate chaos,
Yeah.
then more chaos.
Right.
So that's definitely for me that gets me through every single day is just making sure that I have it laid out and I have a plan and that, you know, should an obstacle come up,
Mhm.
I know how to get over it. So
Yeah. Oh man, that's so important. So important. Well, Raven, this has been absolutely amazing. Before we wrap things up, I have a fun segment that I always like to have with my guests. It's called Pick Three. So the way this works is I have a list of 16 questions over here. I'm going to give
mhm.
you the option to choose a random number between 1 and 16. Based on the number that you
Okay.
choose, it'll have a question that you'll have to answer. That makes sense?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right, perfect. So what will be your first number between 1 and 16?
Let's go with 9.
9. So the question is, if you could partner with or have lunch with any business owner, influencer, or celebrity, who would it be?
Oh. Hmm. That's a lovely question. You said any celebrity, business
Business owner
owner?
or influencer?
Huh. For me, actually, and let me ask this: Where are you based? Like,
I'm
what
in
state are you
Michigan.
in? Oh, you're in Michigan. Okay, so you
Yes.
actually know this person. Um, I am, like I said, I'm a Christian. I don't really idolize people.
Hmm.
Um, we're not supposed to, but you know, there are people that I kind of do look up to. But there's
Hmm.
nobody that I would say like in the celebrity sphere that has an impact on me and
Hmm.
makes me be like, I want to be like them, like
Right.
Michelle Obama, maybe. But there are some people that are kind of I like to look at people that were just regular, just like me, and
Hmm.
they made it happen. It's
Hmm.
hard for us to kind of look at celebrities like that when we've only known them to be famous.
Right.
But there is actually a lady who is from Michigan. She's a
Hmm.
realtor. Her name is Lauren.
Hmm.
And I've kind of spoken with her a few times before in the past.
Hmm.
But every time I see her, it's like, you know, she is elevating constantly. But I remember when she wasn't. I remember when she first started believing in herself and the things that she could
Hmm.
do. And I've briefly spoken with her a couple times just about like real estate things maybe. But kind of looking at where she is now, the investment she's made, the things she's done, you know, she's gotten married, had a baby, bought a house, bought rental property. She's done so much stuff that it just reminds me of myself. And I kind of look at her like, you know, I don't compare myself to her. I definitely don't idolize her, but it does give me just a little bit of inspiration that, you know, we both come from Detroit. Okay. And, you know, it's kind of like you make the best of your situation. So I look at her and I'm like, you know, I one day will create the future that I always dreamt of. And I just kind of watch her like she's creating everything that she's always said she's wanted. So I'm like, you know, if I could just talk to her and just be like, how'd you do it? Like, you know, how did you stay motivated? How did you look past all the, because listen, you're from Michigan, you know, Detroit is a city of haters. I love my city, but we're some haters. We are some haters. It's like, how do you overcome, you know, people saying this about you, people saying this doesn't work, or people looking at you like, oh, you think you're better than everybody. It's just like, how did you get there? How did you overcome it? How did you navigate it? Like, I think I got a good handle on it, but like to just talk to somebody that definitely has seen it from my perspective, that doesn't know me personally or can have a bias about me or where I've come from. I would love to talk to her like really deeply on that level.
I love that, yo. You know, as a official and a fellow Detroit native, you know, like I think that's super dope. You know, like it's like, yo, somebody that's right here, born and raised where we from, that's doing their thing. Like that's amazing, absolutely amazing. What would be your second number between 1 and 16?
Let's do. This is hard. Even though it's not. That's my overthinking kicking in. Let's do 12.
12. The question is, what is a quote or a mantra that you live by or use for motivation?
For me, it's actually Bible scripture. 2 Timothy. It is, God did not give us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. And I live by that every single day. There's a lot of stuff that scares me. There's a lot of stuff that is like, oh, I can't do that. And, you know, I just have to really go back like, okay, spirit, you know, power, love, sound mind. Like, okay, no matter the situation that I'm probably up against, one of those applies. So, you know, if I need to activate this power that God gave me, you know, if I need to show some love and grace that God gave me, I definitely just always come back to that scripture.
I love that
every day.
Yeah, that's my go-to right there, man. Right? That I can't even tell you how many times I've had to lean and rely on that scripture to get me through some tough times.
Yes.
I'll tell you. So what would be your third and final number between 1 and 16?
Let's go like 2.
2. The question is, what was your first big treat yourself purchase to celebrate the success of your business? How'd you treat yourself?
I'm like the last person that actually like treats. No, okay. I always treat myself, but it's always like on a small scale. Like I've never denied myself anything. But for my business, I've always been like huge on like not touching what my business has made. So like if my business has done something well, I don't take it from my business to treat myself. I think I just kind of take it as, okay, my business is doing good. Like let's celebrate it. Let's do this, or let's just acknowledge it. And I think honestly, it's gonna sound funny, but like when I launched Black Women Can, I think I treated myself with the launch because I decided I ended up launching Black Women Can on my birthday. And I knew that I would be forever sharing my birthday with the birth of my business. And for me, I was like, I'm setting that tone that every year on my birthday, like we're going to celebrate something that is greater and greater that happened in the business. So last year on my birthday, my fiance actually planned me a surprise birthday party. And like everybody that was like close to me was there, and they were wearing my apparel. They were wearing, you know, my brand. I had a whole cake with my brand on it. There was literally the brand was the birthday party. And it was like, for me,
that is so dope.
Crazy to see my stuff like come to life.
Yes.
So I think that treating myself honestly is just celebrating the fact that I've done something that I didn't think I could. And every year I kind of am now looking forward to, you know, celebrating and seeing where this business is. But I don't think I've actually like said like, okay, you know, the business has hit this milestone, like we're buying a new bag. Like I've never been that type of person. Like I will be eventually. But I think like right now I've definitely just been like, okay, great, let's go for more. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think, and then maybe I should start celebrating more, but I've always just kind of taken those accomplishments and just like say, let's do more.
Right.
Let's do more.
I can respect that. Definitely. Man, this has been such a fun experience. Before we go, I want to hand the mic over to you, Raven. Are there any questions that you like to ask me or any last or closing words you like to leave our audience with?
Um, Honestly, like this was really good for me. I'm so glad that you reached out to me. This kind of talking about it just
Mhm.
kind of brings it back to like the forefront of, really valuing what I do and where I came from.
Yes.
So I just wanted to thank you for, doing what you do, having people on your, your show. And I'm gonna always shout out Black people. Honestly, I tried. The business is called Black Women Can.
Yes.
But we have to acknowledge that there are people like you who are doing some great things and just really
Thank you.
highlighting people who, may not feel like they have a place in this atmosphere. So
Mhm.
what you're doing, I love that. I'm glad that I'm really appreciative that you reached out to me. That I'm honored. And I hope that we can do this again for
Yes.
sure. But I just again thank you so much because it really does just kind of help me kind of put it back into perspective. Like,
Mhm.
I sometimes, like I said, is you get in this place, but I think this came like right on time for me. So thank you.
Yo, God knows what we need at the right time, always.
Yes. Oh,
These
yes.
be those reminders that we need, and it's just like, I almost forgot about that, God. Thank you for that reminder. Like, I
Yeah,
need that.
like,
That's
oh,
gonna be able to fuel me going forward.
exactly. Exactly.
So I've been waiting for you to share this with everybody. Definitely let them know how they can support you, contact you, whether it's they need assistance with starting an apparel business or digital marketing services. If they want to go get an amazing Black Women Can shirt or a hoodie
Yes,
or what, like
yes,
definitely let them know
yes.
how they can get in contact and show you some love.
Yes. So I will not give this whole encyclopedia of platforms because I am listed on every platform. But if you search me on somewhere, you'll find me under Ravenn Jayy. And on Instagram at Ravenn Jayy, you will find, the link to my website, my booking, and all of that good stuff. You can find it on my YouTube. Wherever you find me at, you should be able to find my booking. And my Instagram for Black Women Can is literally at Black Women Can, but it's spelled BLK. That's what makes it different. It's BLK. Women Can. And you will also find there the website to shop as well. But if you want the direct website to booking, it is beloveddigitalmarketing.com. But again, if you just type Ravenn Jayy, you should be able to find me. And if anybody finds me from this, please definitely kind of let me know that you found me from Jay's show because that will make me so happy. And I maybe can show a little love, to people that are supporting Jayy and happen to come and support me. So definitely, if you find me on my platform, let me know that it came from this show.
I appreciate that. Yo, you guys definitely show some love. I know Raven, I'm definitely about to show some love and, get me some apparel, for the ladies. I know would
Yes.
love to rock it. So I just want to thank you, man. This has been such an amazing time. You guys, all of the links to get in contact with Raven will be in the description. And before we go, Raven, just want to say thank you again. If you're ever interested in coming back on, I would love to have you come back on. It's been an honor and a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.